Hey everyone, Ed from Get With the Pilgrim here, and this is probably going to be a short one. This is just a quick little video about a couple things. First of all, thank you very much. Just crossed 400 subscriber threshold, which is incredible. That you folks have subscribed and want to view and potentially comment with and interact with what I have to discuss regarding the Camino, past and present and future. So thank you very much. And also thank you for the really thoughtful comments and questions and interaction. As I said, it's been wonderful to go back and forth with a number of you on here. And I just think it's amazing. So again, my heartfelt thanks. Secondly, I wanted to talk about something I've been waiting for quite some time. It arrived the other day, but I wanted to take some time to actually dig into it and do a little reveal. It is a book, and it is about the Camino, obviously. But first of all, a little backstory. So nearing 20 years ago, when I first learned about the Camino Francés, Camino de Santiago, it was from, at the time, my CEO at the organization I worked for, and his name is Rocco Rossi. And it was just, Rocco may remember it or may not, but it was just a passing conversation, hallway conversation, if you will. He knew I was a photographer and liked to travel. And he mentioned to me, just in passing, there was this thing called the Camino de Santiago. And, I should really check it out. I would love to shoot it probably. And he knew this because I had volunteered for doing some photography at the organization that we worked for. And again, just a passing conversation that was just registered, and and I just kind of put it aside for the time being. And that was my origin story of learning about the Camino. And I joined the Canadian Company of Pilgrims Toronto chapter at the time, attended a few of their meetings. It just came and went in my mind. Life happens. To get an opportunity to walk is, especially at Francés, that's 5 or 6 weeks away from your day-to-day, whether it's your job, your family, your kids. So that kind of waned, and eventually I did end up going in 2022 to walk the Francés, and it was in large part thanks to Rocco. And so he has been featured on several podcasts, a number of articles, and really, if you look him up, you'll find that the way that he came about finding about the Camino is quite a story. It is featured on the My Camino, the podcast with Dan Mullins. And the book is called Finding Grace, that he has just recently written. There are several episodes that feature Rocco Rossi on the Dan Mullins My Camino podcast. And just recently, 3 days ago, he had Rocco back on, Dan that is, to discuss this book that he has recently written. That is, I believe, number one in best-selling category for travel novels. It is a fictional novel. It is not a guidebook, and Rocco didn't want it that way from what I've listened to in terms of that particular podcast. This is a gentleman that's walked 23 Caminos and counting. A really interesting tidbit is that he has journaled every one of them and put that information into a database, if you will, that helped assist him in some of the locales and information and the backbone of the story that he's written, called Finding Grace. So of course, when I learned that he was writing a book, I wanted to jump on that right away. As soon as pre-orders were available, that's where I was to order this book. Again, this was somebody who had instilled the notion of the Camino Francés, Camino de Santiago, with me some almost 20 years ago. And I had recently, 4 years ago, underwent that journey. And it was interesting because all along the way, when I was broadcasting my reels and stories back on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, there would be Rocco sending little tidbits of information, little route adjustments or places that I should check out. So that was really kind of him and wonderful. So without further ado, like I said, I've been wanting to get into this, and here it is. Perfect. This is Finding Grace, a Camino de Santiago story. Can't wait to read this. Information about Rocco on here on the back. I believe even Dan has had something to say in terms of having a forward preview of the book and reading it. So again, I highly recommend checking out the book, listening to the Dan Mullins podcast, My Camino podcast, and listen and finding that version or that episode where Rocco talks about how he came to find the Camino de Santiago. And it is quite poignant and how it shaped his life. And here we are, 20 years later from, when he originally walked. I believe it was 2002, and he's done 23 Caminos, and he's still doing more. And I still follow his adventures, and now I'm going to read his book. So again, that was it. That's just a quick little video from me. Again, thank you for the 400 subscribers. Thank you for the interactions and the conversations. This is a great community. Love to be a part of it. Can't wait. I'm about 14 weeks away from doing my Camino Portugués, and the training is going along well, and very excited to get back to Europe and Portugal and Spain very soon. And I hope you'll join me, whether it's on here as I train and get ready, or on my Instagram channels as I'm there day to day posting reels. And through all the trials and tribulations, it's not going to be a cakewalk. But yeah, thanks again. And if you have a chance, pick up Rocco's book, and I'll see you again soon. Oh, and the next video is going to be the gear video, I promise. I've got it filmed. I just need to edit it. It's going to be a really interesting video. I hope you check it out. All right, thanks, and Buen Camino.